All right, let's see here. Yes. All right, we're live. We're back, Brenda. It'll be better. We'll get all the kinks worked out. Uh, we'll have an intro screen and a stream starting soon, and maybe even some live music next time or something, and maybe not so many technical difficulties. What do you think?
They're beyond me.
Well, one way or another, one way or another, we'll figure it all out, and we'll get there. So we currently have 3 people watching. I usually like to pull up and make sure that I've captured the live audio, but I'm not yet one of those people. So if you're watching, comment. Go ahead and feel free to comment. We now have 4 people watching. We'll give them some time to kind of tune in if people have questions. I imagine you've been getting a lot of questions, Brenda.
A few.
Yeah, more than a few.
Yes, definitely.
We've almost seen people storm the streets. Seen some catfights on Facebook.
Yeah,
sorry.
With frustration.
Yeah, with frustration. Jin Bo and hi, thank you for joining us today. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start us off with some light and easy questions. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So let me find one of them here. Let's see. I'm pulling these questions from comments on Facebook. I'm pulling these questions from comments on the live stream event that we set up. And then some of these questions are actually on the website under our PEP FAQ. First off, Brenda, why is it called PEP and not HB1?
HB1 was the bill, because HB stands for House Bill 1, and it didn't become the personalized education program until it was signed into law.
Yeah.
It was a bill. Now it's a law.
Now it's a law. And it's a very interesting, I always find marketing to be very interesting, and branding and how things are named. Sometimes a bill gets known for a name completely other. I can think of some DeSantis moments, completely other than what the bill was actually about or stated as. So I just find that it's really interesting. It does make it more difficult sometimes to find information, right? Because I know that when we first put the information up on our site, it was HB1. We had everything listed under HB1. The first video that we did was called the HB1 session recap and different things like that. So we're going to evolve and start calling everything PEP too, I guess.
Why don't we just call it PEP?
Yeah. PEP, that's what I mean. Also, PEP also, not the number 2. Yeah. Not HB1 PEP 2. No.
There probably will be a 2 next year, but right now it's just
that
1.
won't complicate anything.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the first question then. If you buy quote-unquote curriculum from a private school, does it still qualify for PEP funds?
That depends. Are you just buying curriculum, or are you buying instruction to go along with the curriculum? So you're buying classes?
Okay. Talk to me about the distinction. So if you're just buying curriculum, what would that look like?
That would look like books, workbooks.
Okay.
It could be online. It could be videos. That's digital instructional materials. But you could also buy classes on a part-time basis from a private school.
Okay. And when you say a part-time basis, what are you thinking of that distinction is?
You cannot be enrolled in a private school and receive a PEP.
Okay. And do you have any ideas off the top of your head, like what what that might be or what that might look like. Like, oh, we home educate. We're in the PEP, the personalized education program. We're in that path, but we're doing X at the private school.
You're doing it at a private school?
We're doing X. We're doing like what might that include?
Well, you could take a math class at a private school, but it has to be an eligible private school. It can't be any private school. And let me explain the difference. There are private schools that have filled out the basic information, the survey information that is required in law to be shown and registered with the Department of Education as a private school. If a school wants to provide the scholarship students the opportunity to spend their money at their school, whether it's for full tuition with one of the other scholarship programs or with the PEP, they have to be an eligible private school. There's another section of law that is Statute 1002.421 that lists all of the requirements that a school has to meet in order to become an eligible scholarship school.
Okay.
So an umbrella school that's not an eligible private school parents can't spend their PEP funds there. They can spend their personal money if they want to, but they can't spend PEP money there.
Okay. Very good. This next one came from there's a pre-discussion that launches with each one of these videos. And so there's a series of videos that will be going up between now and I think August, the first week of August. So we have one a week from now until the first week of August on Mondays at noon, barring any technical difficulties. And in the event discussion area, people can go and post questions that we can ask. So here's one of those. It says, if a high school student, I'm assuming they meant a home educating high school student, is taking classes on FLVS at a local school or dual enrollment via community college, how much would we need to pay for each of those classes as a PEP student? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't specifically know that. You could go on FLVS Global. They have a global arm and they have a Florida arm. And on the global arm, it would probably give you an idea about how much each one of those classes would cost. I don't think we've gotten to the point of figuring that out yet. There's still a lot of implementation to be done on this program, and we're working very hard to get a lot of those questions answered at the moment, but that's not top priority. The other thing is the question included dual enrollment. The PEP students will not have to pay anything for dual enrollment because they will be given the dual enrollment scholarship, just like home education students receive now. So they won't need to spend their PEP dollars on dual enrollment courses.
Okay. Got it. And I'm typed that up as you were saying it. I tried my best at least. So that comment is also going to be posted there. So lots of really good Q&As here. Another one from the same person. So this is, I won't call their name out just in case they don't want to be called out. But specifically, so this is number 2. Specifically regarding dual enrollment, how will enrollment as a PEP student compare to a home education student? Now, I know that you just answered that in regards to the dual enrollment scholarship. Is there anything about the enrollment process that changes for them?
There will be a requirement, I believe, for the scholarship funding organization. I'm going to call them SFOs.
SFOs.
Which would be Step Up for Students or AAA, whichever scholarship funding organization they get their money through, to verify that the student is enrolled in a PEP program, because currently the district has to verify that a student is enrolled in a home education program.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, we do have some live comments coming in on the live stream, so I want to get to those before people get bored and think we're not answering their questions too.
Well, I'm excited. There's somebody asking questions.
There's a million people asking questions. I have to try to keep up with them all. Will homeschool instructional programs provided by museums, zoos, and other private enrichment programs count as home education programs? I think the answer is no. But yes. Brenda, slap me on the wrist.
The answer at this moment is yes.
The answer at this moment is yes.
We are still working. Now, keep in mind, we're still working on definitions. We're still working on what qualifies as those programs. But at the moment, they are going to qualify.
That's excellent. I did find my sound effects, so we have a list. Yeah, and good. We can cheer. We can cheer for that answer. That's great. It's great. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I didn't think, based off of what I was reading earlier that you had sent me, that would end up fitting that definition, but it's interesting that it does.
Well, we said enrichment programs or enhancement programs.
Okay.
And that could be, there's a big organization called Saints that does PE and sports programs for basically for elementary and middle school students. And at this time, they're going to be included in that enrichment because they're offering classes to only home education students.
Okay. Interesting. So that's interesting. All right. One more question about that as a follow-up. Do you know if they will be direct pay or reimbursable? Do you know how that will work?
Most likely the museums and what was the other thing you said?
Museum, zoos, private enrichment programs.
In all likelihood, those will be reimbursement. It's possible if the scholarship funding organization work out a payment situation with Saints, because they're a large organization, that those might be direct pays. Okay. Now, I'm only giving you my best guess at this point because I don't see how their platform works. Parents give me feedback, and from that I can figure out what the scholarship funding organizations are doing. Sometimes I ask them, but there's nothing on their website yet. And so I'm getting information directly because I'm giving them input into like the definition for home education instructional program.
Yeah.
And I don't see that on the website yet, although I know that there is the definition there. At this point, they're still taking input from parents. So if parents have something that they would like to see covered under curriculum or home educational instructional programs, they need to go to the scholarship funding organization. And Step Up is stepupforstudents.org what was that?
Was it stepupforstudents.org?
Yeah, I had it right here and I forgot. You made me close all of my windows.
No. Sorry. That is my fault as we troubleshoot all the technical difficulties.
Yeah. I see. I'll look it up, but I don't think I have it.
Okay. So while you look that up, I'll say
Get
this.
support.
Okay.
Get dash support.
Support. So get dash support. Those dashes are important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And their parents can submit questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if there's something that parents would like to see included in the list of things that are approved, that would be where they would go.
Great. I posted that in comments too. So just so that everyone can have a direct link to that, I just went ahead and posted that in the comments to the video as well. And they'll stay there. So if anybody's watching this as a playback, it'll also remain and stay there too. So that's good. I do think it's important. I'll include that, Brenda, I don't know how you do it. Every time I ask you a question, you're like, oh, that's 1002. Blow my brains out. Holy cow. I have no idea how you keep up with all of this stuff. And everybody makes mistakes. You're human. We're all human. But a lot of this is kind of being built as we fly it, so to speak. So there's a lot of questions that answers today might change a month or two from now, because they may have an alternate way of answering that specific thing, or a parent comes up with a great problem that really taught us a lot about how to handle it, right? So we adapt. And right now, things that aren't there now might be there in the future, and vice versa. As we go, things will kind of change. And I think it's important for everyone to kind of take a deep breath and realize that, because it is new territory, so to speak. It's familiar territory in a lot of ways, but it's also kind of new territory, and that we just kind of have to take some deep breaths, keep following the forums, keep following the website, the blog, the Facebook page, watch the videos, make sure that you're just staying up with it. And if you find something helpful, especially if we put it out, and help share it to other people. So I'm going to move to the next question.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
On that same line.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for parents to give Step Up their feedback if there's something, because this is a fluid process. It doesn't have to be set in stone until December. So we want to make the options for parents as broad as possible. We want to make sure there's not any kind of arbitrary limitations on students. In fact, you could put up that definition, if you can get it, that I sent to you earlier.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so
that is on the website. I'll show that later.
Okay, so when I first read, this was before it became public, I got to see the definition that the staff had come up with at Step Up, and they had put in there that a parent had to teach at least 8 hours a week. And I said, no, you can't do that. The law doesn't require that. And therefore, you cannot impose regulations that are not in statute. So they quickly took that out.
Thank you for doing that, Brenda.
But you have to realize Step Up for students and their staff, most of them, I would venture to say none of them have ever home educated.
Yeah.
And so they don't intend to make up the rules that are contrary to statute.
Right.
But they also don't know the rules real well.
Right. Being unfamiliar, it's very easy for them to make a misguided step, and have to fix it. Or that's why I think it's so important that the process be fluid, like you said. But that also, as home educating parents, we're also trying to figure this stuff out. We have to be calm. We have to take a deep breath and find our way through all the little details, right?
Right. And I think that people need to look at this. If something is not on the list that you want, remember, you would have paid for that out of your pocket without the PEP. Mm-hmm. So don't get overly concerned that every single thing that you want is not on the list. They may limit the number of supplies, the amount of money you can spend on supplies. Mm-hmm. Because the question is, are you really spending that scholarship money on one child? Or if you buy 10 of the same thing, are you spending it for your other 9 children?
Yeah.
So some of those things we're going to have to monitor. Yep. Parents are going to have to sign a sworn compliance form. But we want to make sure that parents don't do things they think is okay that's not in compliance with the law, because we don't want fraud in the program, which would bring on more regulation on the program.
All right, more questions. They keep coming in, and I feel like we keep talking about stuff that's important, but other people have their questions, and I know they're watching, waiting for them to be answered. So next question is, can dual enrollment students that want to take additional classes beyond what is allowed by the local articulation agreement use funds from a PEP program to pay for that?
That's going to have to be worked out at the particular state college, because each one of them have their own board of trustees. Okay. Even though there are some laws they have to follow, the implementation on their end can vary.
Okay. Interesting. And Clive Ricketts says, do distance learning schools qualify for PEP dollars?
Name one.
I don't know. It's not my question. I was sitting there thinking, what is a distance learning school? Clive, if you're still there, could you name one, or maybe give us a little bit more? And I'll circle back to that. I'll circle back to that one. But it's a good question. I'm just racking my brain like I don't know what he's talking about, and this is why you're so important, Brenda. Another question came in, so as we wait for that clarification, can PEP funds be used for private music instruction?
They should be.
They should be. Okay.
Well, I mean, those are the enrichment classes.
Those are the enrichment programs. So how would they go about doing that? Like,
well, if it's with a private individual, the parent would have to most likely pay for it and then get reimbursed.
Understood. Okay. And then Debbie Tharp says, what about printing online curriculum, like off of the teachers pay teachers? Okay.
I know what that is.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm Googling it. You go ahead and answer it.
If it's a small amount of money, I would not try to get reimbursed for it. It's kind of like buying pencils. Really, you would buy pencils out of your own pocket and then go for the bigger items. If you're buying a lot of that, I would suggest that you put into the question link that we said get support, and let them answer that question, because it's going to be, how are you going to prove it? You're going to turn in an invoice. You're going to get reimbursed. It's a process. And I would think if you can show that it's a whole series as part of the curriculum, then you should be able to, but I don't think so. I mean, my personal thing is you couldn't.
That's your personal thought on it.
Yeah,
okay. So seek clarification with the programs, but okay. So Clive came back with clarification, and so I'll re-ask the question, so that you'll refresh on it, and then I'll give you his added. It's, does distance learning schools qualify for PEP dollars? And his example was Mother of the Divine Grace is a Catholic home homeschool, which also qualifies as a distance learning school because they have a physical location in California as well?
That would be a question that I would ask through that Get Support link for Step Up for Students.
Okay.
Um,
Because it's unclear right now.
well, I just want to say it probably will be reimbursed. But
Right. Okay.
if he wants it to be on their platform so that it's a direct pay, then
Got you.
they're going to have to get pre-approval for it. And even
Yeah.
if you're going to use it, there is a pre-approval form on the Step Up for Students website. You would most likely have to call AAA and ask them. But the pre-approval form, you can put that question in and they can tell you in advance yes or no.
Okay. And it looks like they potentially have online classes and different things like that. It looks, at a glance, I'm looking at it now.
I think it will be because the statute says that the parent chooses the curriculum, and if it's not on the platform, then they can be reimbursed. So I'm
Right. Okay.
98% sure, but if you want to be 100% sure, I would
Go
ask
ahead
for the
and submit it as
pre-approval form.
something. Yeah. Cool. That's great. That's great. And thank you, Clive, for that question as well. Let me make sure I'm not skipping anybody. Looks like the next one up is, if we do not use all the money for umbrella school tuition or curriculum, can remaining monies be used for a 529 or college saving account?
Am I reconnected?
You are. Did I
Okay.
lose you?
Okay.
Did I
The
lose
money,
you?
first of all, the money cannot be used at an umbrella school
Okay.
because it's not an eligible private school.
Okay.
And that's the first time somebody's asked me about the rollover, and I am not 100% sure on that. I know that the money is held in the account for the family empowerment scholarships.
Interesting. Yeah, you don't have to
This is
speculate.
well, let me think out loud. This
Okay.
is an ESA scholarship in the child's account. Although the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship was not an ESA, so they paid directly to the school that the parent chose. And I'm going to guess the answer to the question is yes.
Okay. Interesting. Until
that it can be held in the account and rolled over to the next year.
To the next year. Okay. So the question was, can it be rolled into a college saving account?
Yes. I'm going to guess yes, because that's the same way the FESUA is.
Okay. Okay. If there's a precedent, then there's probably a path, is what I like to say. But I don't know for certain, so we'll go with your guess. I like your guesses are far more educated than mine, so we're
and that may be something that we put in the glitch bill next year, to make sure that that is a possibility, so they won't have to worry about it until after next session, which, by the way, is going to be January and February. So before the end of the school year, we should know the answer to that question.
Yeah, we'll have August to December to really work the guts out of this until the next session starts. So these are great questions. The community, keep them coming. It's really awesome. Let's see, there's more. But there's a follow-up, I think. Even if the school is a private school that also has an umbrella school home education part to it, will it not be covered as a private school tuition?
The student cannot be enrolled in a private school that is not on the eligible private school list.
So it sounds to me like you're saying submit that to step up and see what they say back as well?
Well, if they have a home education instructional program, but you're not enrolled in the private school, which may be what they're asking, then yes, it would classify as long as it's not a private school, it would be a home educational instruction program.
So I think it is a private school.
Well, she said, the question said there was an umbrella school that went with it.
Yeah, there's a private school that has an umbrella school home education part to it. I don't know how that works.
As long as they're not enrolled in the private school, they're only enrolled, and the word umbrella is what's confusing.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of private schools that are only umbrella schools, which isn't a legal definition. That's what people call them, but they're not.
Right. It's kind of a branding word, but not
if
technical
that private school is offering classes to home education students, but they're not enrolled in the private school, then yes, they can be paid. Or if the school is an eligible private school because they meet the requirements of statute 1002.421, then yes, you can spend your money there.
Okay.
But that may be something that the school has to work out.
Yeah, it sounds like it. These are definitely some gray area things that are being brought to attention, which is these are the kinds of challenges as to why it stays fluid, and the things that we are fielding this. Definitely go and submit some of these questions and recommendations to the link that we posted in the comments at Step Up for Students as well, because they're the ones, those programs are the ones that are actually handling the scholarship funds. That looks like we've hit the bottom of the questions that are coming in on the live stream. I'm going to keep my eye on it for now, but I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Wait, so Debbie asked another one. Can private school students receive scholarship at an approved school?
At a what kind of school?
At an approved school?
The scholarships prior to the PEP were only for students that wanted to go to an eligible private school, right, except for the FESUA, which used to be the Gardner or McKay, and those were designed strictly for home education students.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, but if you wanted to use your money at a private school, you wouldn't want to take a PEP scholarship. You would want to take a Florida tax credit scholarship or an FESEO scholarship.
Okay. And Richard Groves says, what services may the Choice Navigator provide?
Those are all listed in statute. Wow. Off the top of my head, I don't have those. Do we have them written someplace?
I don't know if we have them written someplace.
Choice
Navigator.
Counseling, it won't be in statute yet. They haven't updated that website.
Okay.
I thought in one of our newsletters or something, I had listed all of those things. Let's see if I can find that. You can pay for a tutor. If you're, it's not clear yet if you can pay a Choice Navigator for administering a test. You can pay for the test under the statute, but I think that the Choice Navigator, even though it doesn't say specifically in law, I think that you can pay them because you can't, in all likelihood, get a test without going through a certified teacher.
Okay. And Jacqueline Rogers says, where is the best place to get more basic information on PEP? Is it on the HEF website? Thank you for keeping up on this, I want to try to answer that question. So there's a lot of information that is on the website, especially if you look under resources and you go to downloadable docs. We actually loaded the language that is in the HB1 bill that hasn't made it to the statutes yet, because like Brenda said, they haven't updated the website yet to include all of the HB1 bill language. But we have a copy of it, and we actually put it on HEF's website under resources and downloadable docs for everyone to read if they just want to download it and read through what the lines of legislation say. We are fielding questions like this. We are fielding questions like you've seen kind of come in. They come in through the contact form on the website. They come in through the live forum on the website. So my second thing would be to say, follow the live forum on the website. I'm going to go ahead and move to the screen share. Is that cool with you, Brenda? So everyone can kind of see where we are. So if you're on the home page of the website, like you can see now, if you go to resources in the menu and then down to downloadable docs, you're going to find the HB1 personalized education bill right here at the top is the one I was referencing. You can just download that and have that. Also, do
you know if that's a
it's a PDF.
PDF?
It is a PDF.
Then they can search for the term choice navigator, and there's one place where it's defined and one place where it says their responsibilities are.
Yes. So choice navigator. I just did that live so that you can see how easy that is. Choice navigator has the same meaning as in 1002.395 section 2. So you can find a lot of the questions that you're having. I'm not going to poke fingers at anybody, but we're trying to make as much of this information as readily available as possible for people who just want to know all this stuff. If you just want a quick question because it's a gray area and you're like, how do I know if this fits that definition or this fits that definition? Great. That's what our live forum is for. So I'm going to go over to the website, and on our website, this is flhef.org. In the live forum at the top, you'll see this come up, community, live forum community. We have a PEP FAQ section. We have a section where people can go and connect with evaluators. If you haven't made a membership on our site, it's free. There is no cost. You just set up a membership and you can plug and play right along. There is a place for generic questions and answers. If you have questions that need answering about home education, there's a lot of people in our community who have many years of experience who can answer those. You'll see some of the HEF admin will respond to some of the questions, and then other people can respond to others. But we've got a lot of different sections there. And in the PEP FAQ, you can come here and there's several different ways to approach the content in here, and you can just start commenting and asking questions. So one of them is, can the funds be used for supplies? We answered that question, and we try to put links to the statutes and bills. We try to put links to the information. Some of the information is going to be in that PDF that I referenced from the download section. So you might want to have that, as you can't link to a PDF from a hyperlink on a website. But if you download that, then we'll give you like line numbers for you to go and reference where to find that in the document and things like that. So we try to be as helpful as possible. This is the live forum community. Anyone can kind of help answer questions, but if you see an HEF admin answer a question, then that's directly from us. But there's a lot of support to be had, and there's a lot of information. So if you're just following and you need generic, you need answers like where's the best place to get the basic information about PEP, like, yes, the HEF website has a lot of tools. I have been working really hard behind the scenes to put a lot of these tools together so that everyone can benefit from them. So that's my answer to the question, Brenda. What is yours?
Well, we're going to try to keep you up on the implementation phase of this. Like I said, it's going to be fluid until December. So if you have something that you really want covered by the scholarship and it isn't being heard at Step Up, please email us. Jason, how's the best way to do that?
So info@flhef.org.
And I will see what I can do to get it covered. Now, I won't always agree with you because I'm going to try to keep all of the requests in line with the statute as well. But where I can push the walls a little further, I will do that with the scholarship funding organizations.
Very cool. We had one more question came in. Richard Groves or Richara Groves, I apologize. My eyes are fuzzy. He says, going back to the question about the choice navigators, he asks, for example, may the choice navigator act as an administration of tests and enrichment?
I believe the answer is going to be yes, but nothing that I've seen yet has defined that.
Okay. So keep watch. Believe the answer is yes, but keep watch. And of course, any specific questions like that you have that needs language put to it in an official capacity, obviously Step Up for Students is that link that we put is a great place to go to submit those things to make sure that whatever clarity needs to come out from an official source can.
They also have a Q&A on their website, but I don't believe that question was asked. So I don't know that they've yet answered that question.
Brenda, thank you so much. I think we are past our time because you and I actually have to be on another call.
Exactly.
But thank you. Obviously, thank you for your time. Thank you for all of the information that you've collected over the years and all the work that you have done. If you're interested in supporting the work that Brenda is doing, you can go over to flhef.org/support. And there is a way to become a member of the community with a support tier. You don't have to do this to become a member of our site. And that is something very important that I want to differentiate, is that to become a member and to benefit from all of the work and all of the effort, you do not have to become a supporter. But we do always appreciate that, because it does make it so that we can do and provide more as we go. Brenda, any last comments or questions or anything for anyone who's watching?
Well, going to the support, we need people to support so that we can keep the website up. We can keep Jason working to give more visibility and contact. And I want to retire. So we need to raise money to hire somebody to replace me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like we have one final question. Are you ready? Will this also cover testing fees for SAT, ACT? And will it cover test prep tutorial programs online?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Because there is a section that says nationally normed reference test, and then it goes on. And I believe in that list, which I don't have right in front of me, is the SAT and ACT in addition to industry certification exams.
Excellent. Well, thank you for answering all of the questions that came in through our live stream. I think we had about 12 to 14 people watching at any given moment. So we will continue to do this. This video will stay live, and it'll stay not live, but it will stay alive on the web, on the Facebook page under the videos section. You should be able to find it. I'll make sure that it stays there. We'll also send out a blog post notification with a link to the video in it, so that everyone who didn't get a chance to can watch it. And if you're watching and you want to be able to share it with your friends, any of those ways of sharing it will make it super easy. Richara Groves says, thank you, Brenda and Jason, for your time. You're very welcome. Without any further ado, as I know we do have to go, I will sign us off, and everyone else have a great day. And remember, what is it? HEF is the parents' voice at the Capitol.